I was in the kind of void of energy, but I was feeling like floating. He was asking me, are you ready? And I said, no, I'm pretty comfortable here. Let me stay.
You do not want to miss this episode with Caia Toussant, where she remembers what happened right before she came into the body.
He showed me a beautiful blue planet. And he said, that's where you're going. I said, that looks good, but I'm pretty comfortable here.
Watch this interview to find out why she was begging to stay on the other side and why she ended up coming to Earth instead.
I was floating above the baby, looking down. He said to me, they're waiting for you. Are you ready? Maybe I was attracting some sort of evil energy, and they came to negotiate with me to say, if you work with me, I'll help you.
Let's start out by hearing about your near-death experience that you had in 2008. And I would love to have you share anything leading up to that that's relevant, and then going into your near-death experience.
Okay. My near-death experience happened, it was the year 2008, as you mentioned. But I was always having this thought of, I want to leave from this planet. The first memory I had was when I was a baby. I must be very, very little baby that my mom was holding me, and I was taking a bath, and I could smell of beautiful soap and the sound of the water moving. And I was like, oh my God, this is heaven. I was like really happy. And I felt the energy around me, that I could see the colors and sensations of this world. And I really liked it. But when I grown up a little bit older, 4 or 5 years old, I felt that a lot of things are not true. Like grown-ups speak, but their energy coming out from their voice and the words are not aligned with their energy. So when you are hearing that, you can feel that gap of this misalignment of words and the energy itself. So I was like, what is it? I didn't know that was a lie. So I was like, it's funny. I don't like that energy. And I get confused. And because I was a different child from others, I couldn't stay at one spot for a long time. Probably people call it as ADHD or something now. I remembered of my past life, one of the past lives, that I used to be an Italian boy in Firenze, and I was playing soccer. So I was always behaving and talking like a boy, and I played soccer, and I had always had a short haircut. And people didn't understand me, why I was behaving like that, especially my mom. And the first gift I bought for myself was the soccer ball. And my mom took it because she said, it's dirty. You play outside with it. And, I cried so much. That was the first intense trauma I had. Anyway, and so I was feeling like strange because I remember some memories from the past lives. I was living with it still, and I was having dreams, again, the same dreams that I was in Mayan pyramid. I was walking up the stairs and dream stops. And I didn't know what it was, but it was coming back again. One day I was in primary school. I saw a history book. And I opened the page and there was a picture exactly the same. So I was like, I know this place. What is it? I was so fascinated. That night, I saw full story, what happened to my life that time. And since then, dreams stopped coming back. I didn't see the same dream again. But I was feeling not accepted or belongs to this world somehow. I don't want to go too deep or too details about my family story, but
Yeah,
it was pretty difficult. So I was feeling not belong at home, and I was bullied at school because I was so different. I didn't have friends. So I was playing with animals, and I particularly liked snakes and lizard somehow. And so I was playing with that on the way home, and I didn't want to go home. Then I remember that I was 5 years old. We don't have a backyard, but we have a little spot behind the house. So after dinner, I always go out and then talk to the stars. I didn't know what I was talking to, but I was like, I know you're there and I don't want to be here anymore. Please take me. That was like a mantra every night. I didn't know why I was doing that. But for several months, I was keep doing it, and I stopped doing it. And that was several years ago when I had a regression therapy, why I was having that experience. So my life is pretty difficult, as I said. So I had thoughts, very negative thoughts. And one day I heard the voice of evil as well. I hear voices, but the particular voice I hear is very strong, masculine sound. When it comes to me, I need to follow it because I know it's telling me the truth and it's telling me to do something that I need to do. But anyway, other voices, they're helpers, spirit guides, sometimes my higher self, etc. But this particular day, I was going home. Along the road, I was walking by myself, and I heard the voice, very dark, deep voice that I never heard before. And it said, "You work with me." And I said, "No, I don't like your energy. Don't talk to me. I'm busy. I'm going home." And it said again, "I help you." I said, "But I'm okay." And it said again, "You work with me. I help you." And I said, "No." And now I know what it is. It's like, I don't want to call it devil or whatever, the dark beings, but because I was so, how to say, negative and accumulating all these negative energies every day, the thought was very negative as well. So maybe I was attracting some sort of evil energy, and they came to negotiate with me to say, if you work with me, I'll help you. But I refused it because I didn't feel right anyway. And when I grown up a little bit more, at the age of 12, I tried to commit several times. It was not succeeded. That's why I'm here still. But the time I realized that it was not my time, because the last time I tried, I was going into the truck. So I was going down the hill with my bike, and I could see the beautiful light coming out of the truck. If I go in there, I can go home, the real home. And it was in the evening, so I only could see the light coming out from the truck, and I was going towards to it. And that moment, I felt the happiest feeling I've ever heard that time. And I was like merging into that light. I don't know, it was the light coming from the truck itself, but it was like a beautiful white light I felt. And I was going into it, and then a boom. I don't know what happened exactly. All I remember is there was a lady next to the truck. She was on a scooter coming, but I didn't see her. She pushed me aside. And it was funny because from that road to the rice field, I was lying down so far away. So I don't know how I could get there, but I had, scratches everywhere. And I was feeling that pain. And I said, "Oh, damn, I'm not dead yet. I'm still alive. I can feel the pain." But I realized that time it's not my time. So even you tried again, I couldn't go back there anyway. And so the childhood was pretty difficult, as I say. So there are so many things happened that a lot of people told me that I should write a book. I'm not going to do it because I don't know how to do it. So I tended to have negative thoughts easily, maybe more than other people. Not now. I'm very positive now, and then I'm completely different from that time. But when I married to my husband, that was one of the stories that I heard a voice that it told me, you married to him. And after that voice came, 2 months later, I was married. And, the voice came, and then my husband told me if I want to have a cup of coffee with him. That moment, I went into his eyes, my husband's eyes, and then went into the heart. I came back to my heart in like one moment, in 1 second. And I was like, oh, this is different, experience. I never had this before. But I had a Turkish boyfriend at that time. So I was like, I have a boyfriend. Why this voice is telling me I'm married to this French man? Anyway.
Do you like what you're hearing on this podcast? For just $10 a month, you can join Love Car Life Academy, where you'll have access to our exclusive community chat and our weekly live streams, where we answer your most pressing questions and deep dive into your spiritual practice. You don't have to be alone on this journey. Come join us. We would love to have you.
So I married to him in 2 months' time. Wow. So I needed to live in France because I'm Japanese. I didn't have a long-term visa in Australia. By the way, we met in Australia. And he needed to go back to France. So I decided to move to France. And then things start to happen because the energy I was feeling in that country, it is not the fault of that country or people, but it was my path to feel that. It was just heavy, so heavy. And I was feeling not happy. And then also I didn't speak the language, so I couldn't make any friends. My husband was working all the time, and I couldn't get along with my mother-in-law because we had a language barrier. I was alone almost every day for so many months. Some negative thoughts again, like when I was a child. And I started to have symptoms physically, coughing, high fevers, and tiredness, can't sleep. And I had a lung infection because of coughing, and that was getting heavier and heavier. But no one could help me because the doctor only gave me the antibiotic when I visited him. So I was thinking, okay, what's happening? And one day I realized that during the day, when I was in a bedroom, because that was the only place I could feel safe, so I didn't go out from there, I was looking at the notebook, and I had a pen, and the notebook has white blank page, of course, but that was all black because I was drawing circle without noticing. Like I didn't know what I was doing. So I thought that this is not good, I am doing things without my awareness. Anyway, the symptoms getting heavier, and one night, my husband didn't even know this story. He was sleeping. That coughing get really worse, and I couldn't breathe really. And I didn't sleep for so many days, couldn't eat. I felt like that's it. I had enough. I talked to the universe again and said, take me. I'm ready now. I had no joy in my life, and I don't know why I'm here. And that moment, I felt I was out. But it was like very first action that I didn't even know where I went. It's just boom, I was in a different place, and I call it the void of energy. So I was in the void of energy, which was dark, but it's not black. It was like so big. You cannot measure. But if I describe third dimensional way, it goes to the end of the world. It was like everywhere. And I was in it, but at the same time, I was it. So I felt a strong connection to it, but I didn't see anything but just the color of darkness. I didn't feel scared. There's no symptoms of my physicality anymore. So I was feeling released a little bit, but I didn't feel fear or anxiety. It's like, I'm here again. That sort of, feeling. And I spent quite a while there. I don't know how long in this physical reality, but I felt like I spent so long because the voice that I'm always talking about, this voice was talking to me. Unfortunately, I don't remember the contents. Maybe I'm not supposed to remember. But only one thing I remember what it said. It said, find the DVD in your house. I said, what DVD? You find a DVD, not only one, but several. So you watch it. I said, okay. And boom, I came back. And that was the same thing when I pop out from my body. It was like so quick. But this time, I'm coming back to this body. So it was like intense energy coming back to the little piece of body. And I started to feel all the symptoms, but it was not intense as before. And I started to walk, but I couldn't move. So I realized that I can only crawl like a baby. So I was crawl, like going on the floor like that, and then searching for that DVD the voice was talking about. And then I found that DVD. I didn't even know it existed there because that was in a different room. That was not my room, so I never opened it and go in there. And that was a DVD. The TV series is called Friends, as you know, probably. And so it was in English, so I could watch it, I thought, okay, why not? What I'm going to lose because I'm pretty sick and I cannot go anywhere. So I just watched this DVD as my voice said. And I start watching it. About 2 days and a half, a bit less than 3 days, my all symptoms disappeared. Except a little bit of coughing, but it was almost nothing. And probably because I was laughing a lot.
I was going to ask if that's what it was.
Yeah, but I was just watching, like nonstop, just watching and laughing. I started to feel hungry. I started to, feel sleepy. And it's all coming back to me. My awareness, half here, half still there. So I don't remember so much of about 6 months after this experience, what I was doing exactly, because I was here, but part of me was still there. Maybe they're helping me to adjust my body and energy in that period of time. But near-death experience was known to me because I've heard of it that time already. But people talk about heavens and then all these angels and then, loved ones in the spirit world, and they comes to talk to you, and then butterflies. And I was like, oh, that sounds fantastic. But my case is like just gone to the void, talked to the boys, and came back. But what I felt different coming back from that experience is I felt like I need to do something here. Before that experience I was just living life day by day, but without purpose. I was just living and, not thinking so much. And after coming back, I felt the sense of purpose. I need to find out who I was or who I am and what I should do here. Maybe there's no such a should kind of thing, but I wanted to do something. And so it's guided me to, search for metaphysical and, psychic abilities and spiritualities and all that. Yeah. But I was very psychic and intuitive when I was a child. I remember that I was predicting things happened before. So, for example, I told my mom one day, I was probably 6 years old that time. I said to her, "You're going to cut your middle finger tomorrow. You need to bring a Band-Aid wherever you go." She said, "Don't talk about it because it sounds weird and then, you're crazy." I said, "Okay, but I just tell you because that's what I see." And next day she went out. In Japan, there is an event, like a seasonal event. You go to the beach and pick up some shells just for cooking. So she went there and she came back home and I see the Band-Aid was exactly on the finger like I was talking about. So I was smiling, but she didn't want to talk about it. And there's so many things that I could feel and I could predict and I could sense the energy of nature and I felt the sense of connection to everything. Yeah, but I suppressed it because everyone I talked to, they said, "Don't talk about it because, people don't understand you or they think you're crazy." And sometimes I talk about the experience I had and then they don't understand it. And they look at me like, "What are you talking about? We don't want to talk to you." So I stopped that part of me when I was a child.
So when you saw like your mom cutting her finger or other events, how does that knowing come to you?
Yeah, it's like a picture. It's like an image of that scene. Like I see the finger, it's bleeding. So it's just a one picture or image in my mind, but I don't say it's here, but I feel like I'm translating that. When I do intuitive reading now as well, I can tell you when information comes, it's like downloading, but it's not downloading, it is there. So when I'm having a conversation with someone and if the information is needed to be shared to that person, their spirit guide or helpers or my spirit guide or higher self, whatever it is, they just give me sensations like the chill of energy, just like chilling sensation of energy comes to my body, or the pictures or images, or sometimes like 3D holographic things happening. For example, one of the lady, long time ago, she was talking about her relationship with men. And she said, "Oh, I don't have any good luck." And she said, "I don't have anyone going out with right now." Then that moment, two men standing, just a little tiny men, two of those standing next to her and dancing. I was like, I said to her, "Are you going out with two men?" And she said, "How do you know?" It's like, dating, but I'm not going out with them. It's just, having fun. I said, "Yeah, I can see that because they're dancing." And I said to her, "I don't know why, but I see flowers everywhere." And she said, "Oh, because I'm a florist." One of the clients' grandmother came. I was in the toilet relaxing before the session. And then this grandma came and said, "Tell her I want to give her a pink rose." And so the client came and she was going to have a regression therapy. I said to her, "I'm sorry to tell you, you can think this is weird, but an old lady came to me and said, I want to give you a pink rose." Does it make sense to you? And then she smiled and she said, oh, that's my grandmother. Her name is Rose and her favorite color is pink. And then during the session, I went to toilet again because the session is pretty long. So I needed to go back to the toilet. I was sitting there and then that lady came back and said, could you tell her that you look so good with in purple? The purple color is the best for you. And I was like, okay. But she was wearing all black. So I told her that the old lady came back and then tells me that she likes when you're wearing purple. And she smiled and she said, oh, that's my favorite color. And she pulled up her clothes. She was wearing long pants. So I didn't see her legs at all. But she pulled it up, one of the legs, and showed me the tattoo of big pink rose on her leg. And
Wow.
she smiled at me and she said, I talked to my grandmother. If she's around, talk to me. So it came through from you. And I said, okay. So I'm not quite a medium, but I just sense energies and receiving the messages coming out of somewhere or something when I need to share. So it's not like I want to know about this person and show me, not like this, because it's ulo ego. I just said to the universe, use me as an instrument or tools that you want to use to help others. Then they will give me information, whatever I need to receive to share.
You mentioned that you feel the energy of nature since you came back.
Yes.
What does the energy of nature feel like to you?
It is different according to the items, but I particularly like the trees. So I was hugging the trees all the time. It feels like the love of mother. For me, it's probably different to other people, but because when I was a child, I was missing love. And in my culture, we don't say I love you in the family, like to each other. And we don't hug. The funny story that one day my husband came to Japan to meet my parents because they never really met before. And then at the airport, they were standing far away. It's like 50 meters away. And they look at us and they bow, right? To say hi. And they just turn around and then going back to the car. So my husband got panic and he said, what did I do wrong? And I said, no, this is our culture. They're just being polite to say hi. And we're here, welcome. That's it. He said, are you sure? Because they didn't even come to say hi. Is that okay? We don't touch or hug or shake hand, but we just bow and then show the respect towards each other. So I never really had this experience. My mom was hugging me or touching me, nicely or saying, I love you. So when I was out, always find a big tree, then hug it. And then the energy of the water, I really loved it. So I was just keep touching it. When I find a pond or river, creek, I just go there and then I touch the water with my feet. And the energy of the water is like, I don't know, how can I describe it? It's like a fairy, like for me, it's like really tingling, like it's like a Tinkerbell. I don't know how to describe it. It's like I feel so connected and I'm happy with it. So I just keep touching it. And then when I touch, it feels like I am recharging my energy somehow. The currency of the flow of the water is doing it. I don't know. And tree and the grasses is more like a grounding. I'm feeling like I am coming back to this body. And then like I feel the grounding type of energy, but loving, so much love from the tree. And I liked playing with animals and these reptiles and stuff because you feel that you are accepted for who you are. There's no judgment. They don't tell you, of course, they don't talk like us, but, they don't tell you that, you're stupid or you're different from others. They just play with you. They just be with you. And that energy, I really connected and I really liked it. I was accepted. I could be who I was. And so I could spend like hours and hours just spending the time with snakes and little, sometimes beetles or cats, feral cats. I find a feral cat and then play with them.
Thank you for sharing that. I also feel the energy of nature, and it's exactly the same.
Cool.
Feel like sometimes I feel like I'm living in a different world than the people around me, because I seem to be experiencing something completely different on an energetic level. And I just want to be outside all the time. I don't care if it's hot, cold, whatever, because there's so much energy, and it's this powerful, uplifting energy. And like you said with the water, ever since I was a young girl, I have to get my feet in the water. And I always I've described it as like timeless joy. Like it's such a high vibration of like childlike, timeless joy. And then with the trees, it's so grounding, and it's like this powerful, ancient, wise, grounding presence.
Yeah. The rocks and airs are more chattering. So I can sense of the conversations and the talking in the air. It's powerful, but it's like I'm having the conversation with them. So when I do meditation, I always go outside and then pretend that I'm a tree, and I just stop doing anything and feel that energy. And that wind and air, it brings me kind of like words and like conversational energy. And I don't understand what they're talking about, but sometimes it comes to my mind, but maybe I'm guessing it. I don't know, but it's just beautiful, like a music. It's words and the music. And the rocks is more like, I don't want to say close to the human, but it's just the densities and the energies I can have like connection easily. And sometimes they talk to me, like sending me messages. So one day I was asked to read the message from the 3 stones, like rocks, gemstones, by one of the Chinese lady, because her husband likes buying those, but she thinks it's waste of money and time because it's just a rock and it's so expensive, she said. And then so she wants to know what is about, like why her husband is so fascinated about the rocks. And so she gave me one stone or gemstone in my hand, and then straight away I felt the Wi-Fi, and I said, she doesn't like Wi-Fi. And then this lady, Chinese lady, said, it's actually next to the TV and a Wi-Fi device. Oh, maybe she wants to move out of that area to somewhere else. And the big round stone, I don't know what type of the stone, but that was a pitch black, big stone like that. I held it, and straight away I felt dusty. So I said, somehow it's give me the sense of dark, small space and dusty. What is it? And then she said, oh, because he was sitting on the top of the cupboard, and when I found him, was full of dust. And, that sort of thing. And he said he doesn't want to be there, and then he wants to be on the grass. I told her that he wants to recharge his energy on the grass, so please just put him outside and then put him on the grass. It comes to me, but it's like I'm having a conversation with that gemstone, in a sense like telepathic conversation. It's not like word to word. So when you go back to that void of energy, I'm talking about when I was having near-death experience, it was like I had a question, but before I was finishing the question, the answer was already there. That sort of, it's like boom, 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 boom. You know what it is. And so when I'm tuning into the energy, sometimes, not always, but sometimes it comes to me, it's like knowing. So maybe people call it clear knowing, but I know what they're talking about, what they're feeling, stuff like that.
Would you like to share about the regression therapy when you saw your pre-birth memory?
Yes. Okay. So that was quite a while ago. But I wanted to know why I came to this world. You know, everyone wants to know. And I had a regression therapy, and I was taken to two places. The one was memory of the time that I was a child. Do you remember that I was standing at the back side of my house in the night and talking to the stars? And I was taken to that place, that time. And then I was like, why I'm here? And next second, what happened was I started to see the beautiful, like orange light coming from the right hand side in the sky. And I was on that ship. And I didn't see whole thing, but I felt several beings standing up, not the tall ones, but the little ones. And then I start laughing. So the practitioner was asking me, what's happening? And so I was laughing, crying, laughing. And the practitioner next to me was asking, what's happened? And I said, those beings are so funny. They're making me laugh. So the practitioner said, can you ask them why they're doing that to you? You know? And so they said, we heard her asking for help. We're here to help her, and to make her laugh, we recharge her energy, because this soul is damaged. It's really like, it's not shrinking, of course, but I don't know how to describe it. It's like energy was less and less and less to live in this physical body. So every night, what they're doing was recharging my energy by making me laugh. So do you remember the time that I, came back to this world after the near-death experience? What happened? My energy was recharged by laughing. Yeah. So I like good sense of humor. I like making people laugh as well. But, I was saved by those beings. And so that was the first regression therapy story that I went back to. So the second story was I was in the kind of void of energy, but I was feeling like floating. And I could feel the presence of the very intense, strong energy on my right-hand side. And I was having conversation with it. It's more masculine than feminine, but I can call it like a master. And he was asking me, are you ready? And I said, no, I'm pretty comfortable here. Let me stay. And then he said, no, I'm asking you, are you ready? Very kindly, nicely. I said, I'm not sure. And that moment, he showed me a beautiful blue planet, but not the whole thing. It's just the halfway, like that. And beautiful blue, shining blue coming out of that planet. And I was looking at it and I said, wow, that's beautiful. And he said, that's where you're going. I said, that looks good, but I'm pretty comfortable here. And then that moment, he said, look on your left. I felt like I turned myself onto left, and then I see the sparkling energies. It's like the souls or whatever it was. it was floating. There's hundreds of them next to me. And it's like floating and waiting. And he said to me, the master, he said to me, they're waiting for you. Are you ready? I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going back. But that time I was crying so much because I was leaving from that place. I wanted to stay there longer, but I knew that I needed to go somewhere else. And so this master was kindly and gently asking me if I'm ready and waiting for me, and then showing me maybe the souls waiting for me to say yes, so that they can start coming to this world at the same time. Or, I don't know, in my story, I don't know how the time is operating in the different dimensions, because it's not the same as here. Like, we are here on the third dimensional reality to experience limitations and restrictions from the bodies and all the rules of the societies and period of the times that you can live in this physical body and all sorts of things. And yeah, so I don't know. It was a time that I came to this body just before, because when I see in the regression therapy, I went into the baby, but it looks more white, female, but white baby. And then I was still floating above the baby and looking down, and I could hear the voice that, what you doing? Like I said, I'm just floating. I like to be here, not in there. And I was going inside, sometimes checking the body and then coming out. And then I was doing that for a while. And I heard the voice, are you ready? And then I just sucked into the body. And that was the starting of the life of a lady. I think that was in America. I'm not sure, but I had a kind of orangish, brownish hair. And I was a female. In the regression therapy, I saw the story of her life. So I don't know. It's just the two things. This memory of coming back to this planet is connected directly to that baby story. But yeah, I was coming to this world to do something with other beings, with other souls.
That's amazing. But you don't remember specifics about what you were coming to do?
No.
Interesting.
No, I was feeling, just crying, just begging him, like, can I just stay a bit longer? So the practitioner was asking me, what's happening? Why are you crying so much? I said, I want to stay here. I was just crying. But it's your choice. It's everyone's choice. Everything what we do depends on what we choose. So the choice is in our hand. I felt like, did I have a choice at that time? But I know in a soul level, like, I wanted to experience this world again, to achieve something, to learn something, to experience something. Because I know now, after so many years of this spiritual journey is more like remembering who I was. Mm-hmm. And then it's like peeling off the skin of onions. Mm-hmm. I thought I was onion, but peeling off the skin, I started to see the red color inside. And I was peeling off all this emotional attachment and all these egos and all that. And then I find the strawberry inside. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I was a strawberry. But whole life I thought I was onion. So that kind of process,
I love that analogy.
But it is like this. It's not just the one peeling of the skin is sufficient. You just need to go through this transformation process, because once we come into this physical body, some of the new generations, these souls, they remember who they are. And then, past memories and stuff, because we are ready to receive that. But when I came home, I was not supposed to remember much. Maybe a couple of, this Italian lifetimes, and then Mayan life story and few of others. But in general, we are not supposed to remember and reset the memory so that we can start from the scratch to make mistakes and then to go through the journey, without knowing what's happening, so that you can fully enjoy. If you know everything, like, you're going to be cunning, like, oh, if I say this, and I'm going to hurt her, and then I'm going to have a karma with her. I'm not going to have it. I'm not going to do it. So we forget whole thing, how to speak, how to live life, how to eat food, cook food, everything. When you are little child, your brainwave state is different. Yeah. Our main brainwave state now is beta brainwave state. So when we are having conversation like this, we're using that part of brainwave. But when you're a baby, 0 to 2 years old, it's the delta, which is like sleeping state. So the baby is almost sleeping all the time because that's the brainwave state. So they tend to go back to sleep easily. And then alpha and the beta. So in this process, growing up, that we absorb all this information, whatever happened outside of us, experience what we had, like how we felt, what we saw, felt, touch, everything, or the information come from media, society, parents, then collect all the information to become a being, like human being, kind of. So what happened when you are 13 years old? The teenager happened, kind of like a period started to happen. And what they said first thing is, don't tell me anything because I know everything. But yeah, but because the brainwave state become the same as adults, and they think they know everything because they accumulated and collected all this information in the past. But those information coming from the outside source. So are they who you truly are? No. It is information coming from outside. So most of emotions or experience are not ours. But we believe that is us and then start to live life with it. All the subconscious memories and the belief, everything comes out and, we operate our life with that information. So what we not supposed to do, but it is really good to peel off that skin, layers and layers of skin of onions, to start remember who we were before we came in here. And then when you do that, it's like the foggy sky become clear and the awareness started to go higher and higher. This is just a dimensional example, but higher and higher. You raise in the frequencies and then you started to see the things differently. It's like from the baby to when you grown up, you go in a process, right? And first you couldn't even stand up, but you stand up and then you started to walk, run. You have a tricycle, you have a bicycle, you have bike and car, helicopter, airplane, satellite. I just describe like this. Different vehicle, for example, like this bicycle become motorbike and the motorbike become car. Each experiences are different, yeah? When you are riding on a bicycle, you can go only this much, the distance. And then you can go maybe this fast, yeah? But when you ride on a motorbike, you're faster and you can go farther. When you are in a car, another experience. You can even sleep in it, so you can travel around, in the car. But next stage is the helicopter. This is pretty intense experience and shift for the people to go through because it is kind of scary because you are on the ground before and now you are in the sky. But when you go up to the sky, what happened? You can see things better. You can see farther. And you can go much, far away with the helicopter. So this is like process of humanities. We are changing the awareness, shifting. But at the same time, we're peeling off the skin of onions. And we are becoming more pure and clear. Then that brings us better and better awareness. Then we're going to understand why we're here. What's the purpose? It doesn't have to be, you change your world or change the world, save like millions of people. Not like that. Just why you're here depends on each person. Even you're staying there with your family, just be there, breathing is big things, big purpose. Each soul has kind of gift to share. We have a different code in DNA, different sound. And then it's making the music together on this planet. Together, it's like one missing is misharmony, It's going to change the music. We are here together to create the world consciously. The third dimensional world is very interesting. I call it like a game. It's like a virtual game. Everything is so intense sometimes because of the pain you feel emotionally and physically, because it's so real. But the thing is, how you think, your thought can shift that reality, this moment. If you can believe from the heart that statement is truth, if this statement is much to the heart energy, and you can change, like quantum jumping into the different reality, that we can shift ourselves so easily, but the mind is making you believe that you should stay as you were before because it's more comfortable. And for the mind, it is so scary to go future because they don't have any information about the future or something never happened before. They trying to make you stop doing that, telling you the stories coming out of the past or your knowledge, which connected to the emotions. This is just an example, but someone said, I want to go to Thailand. And that is coming from the feeling, which is the heart center. And you're feeling that, I want to go to Thailand. I don't know why, but I want to go to Thailand. And next moment, what's happened is mind comes to say, oh, you cannot go there because you're working. You cannot take day off. And then you have children. How can you afford? And, like maybe you're going to get sick, because the food is not same as you're eating here. So it's not safe, blah, blah, blah. Those stories brings you emotions coming from the past and give you the feeling of, maybe I shouldn't go. Anxiety and fear and all sorts of things started to happen. And then you stop thinking of going to Thailand. But next moment on the TV, you see the advertisement of the airline saying, sail, Thailand. And your heart is beating so fast because that's the frequency you tune into. This is the place you can speak to your true self, which is you. So you can always communicate with them. Like a lot of people say, I don't have any connection with my higher self. I say, that's bullshit. That's you in a different position, but that's you. You cannot disconnect with them. It is literally yourself, but it's just sitting in a different position so that it can help you. So that feeling comes, and then you felt that excitement. And that's the key to open the door to the next synchronicity. So going to Thailand is not probably important, but to take action to go to the travel agencies. On the way, you meet someone you want to meet or find the information you're searching for. So this is the key. I said, do not attach to the outcome. You don't have to even go to the Thailand, but just take action according to the feeling you're having. You don't have to understand how, because the how is their job to bring to us. So you just tune into that energy and then feeling it and take action, open the door, and then open the door. At the end of the story, you find out why. And that's a beautiful journey. But the mind wants to know the answer straight away. It's like 5-year-old child going to the movie theater with the mother, and the movie starts, and the child asks, so what's going to happen? And the mom said, look, I never watched this movie before, so let's enjoy. And 5 minutes later, he's eating popcorn and then ask mom why he died. What's going to happen next, mom? Say, I don't know. Just shut up and just watch. And that is like conversation with your mind. It's like they want to know the answer straight away because they want to help you. Your mind is not your enemy, but kind of like they want to help you so that you can survive in your physical body. Your physical body is important because without that physical body, you cannot experience this reality. And without that physical body, the mind cannot exist. Consciousness can exist without the body, of course, but the mind cannot. So mind trying to help you to survive in that body. And therefore, they want to know what's happening. That's why we're so rushed into the answers. Something happened, well, what's going to happen next? Or when I can get it. So I said, relax. When you don't have something you want, it's not your time to have it. You're not ready. If someone doesn't come to you, a lot of cases like, in consulting sessions, relationship comes out and said, I want to have an ideal partner, but I cannot find one. I said, when you are not having that ideal partner, you're not ready. Something is blocking you, so you need to understand what it is. And then sometimes the destiny is behind you, right? Always the part of the destiny we're going to go through, like you don't remember that memory, but the soul remember. And even though some people want to have a child, cannot have a child, some want to have a good partner, cannot have it, or wants to be successful, but cannot be successful because that's the program. Sometimes we create it before we are born into this life. So I call it destiny. It's a program, but it's destiny. So you go through that destiny, and sometimes thing doesn't happen as you want it. But everything what you need happens because higher self knows what we need. And so, yeah, I'm going everywhere, but correct me and then making me come back to the story.
No, I loved what you were saying.
But really, like people are so in a hurry to do everything and know everything. And I said, look, you shouldn't have that answer yet because you're not ready. If you're not ready, you receive that answer, you mess up. So the divine timing is not the same as, human time. And just a quick short story about my friend who passed away a couple of years ago. He was a devotee of Satya Sai Baba, for example. And then he was told by Baba, I will see you tomorrow. And so his name is Peter. Peter was so happy. I said, yes, Baba said, I will see you tomorrow. 6 years later, Baba said, come to my interview room. So 6 years, every single day, Peter was waiting. So he was frustrated, right? Baba said tomorrow, but he's not calling me. Why? It's a divine timing. 6 years later, that time he needed answer, the real answer. So I said to people, when you don't get the answer or you don't get something what you want, that's good. You're not ready yet. So you are not supposed to have it yet.
Caia, thank you so much for sharing everything that you have shared with us today. I would like to give you a chance to share with people where they can find you, your YouTube, your website, anything else you have going on.
Well, my website is www.qhhd-soulshift.com. And you can contact me through my website. And I'm a holistic therapist. And I do QHHD, Doris Cannon method. I learned the method by her. I've done like over thousands of sessions of regression therapy and QHHD. I've had really amazing sessions with my clients. And I do energy cleansing with the body code, emotion code, belief code, and Dr. Bradley Nelson's method. I do energy healings and then channeling and stuff. But the thing is, I like people to find out their answer from them. So I'm trying to focus on the sessions that people can realize by themselves. So even though I give spiritual counseling and a tarot card reading, but I add some coaching aspect. So don't expect me to tell, whole things and then you just finish the conversation. I always challenge people to think and understand and analyze who they are so that they can start reliving, with their true self. So, I'm working hard, doing a lot of volunteer works because I really like them to do. And I'm just living life fully every day. I'm a mother, I'm a wife, and a divine instrument. And I'm just happy every day.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I will have those links in the show notes for people to check out. And thank you again for being willing to have this conversation.
Thank you so much, Melissa.
Thank you for watching and listening. Your views, likes, comments, and shares truly make the biggest difference in supporting this channel. Don't forget to check the show notes for all the links to today's guest, as well as my links. You'll find me on social media at Love Covered Life, my website, lovecoveredlife.com, and the Be a Guest link for anybody who would like to be a guest on the channel. I have great news. Love Covered Life podcast is coming available on audio podcast. You can find it wherever you listen to your audio podcasts.